I'm going to turn my microphone and go ahead and start the meeting here. I think we're ready to go. Jennifer and Corey, I think you guys are ready. Okay. And I think we're ready down here. Yep. Now we're getting feedback. Let's see if we got that solved. We good? Okay, we're good. Okay, very good. I just want to make sure we were good. Okay, so we're calling to order the Community Health and Safety Council, Everett City Council Committee meeting. Scott Bader, I'm chairing the meeting today, but we do have all three committee members. And Erica, if you want to state your name for the record.
Erica Weir.
Right. And then online, Judy.
Judy, can you hear me?
Just fine, Judy. Yes, thanks.
Okay.
Councilmember Dewey, yes. And Councilmember Weir, thanks for joining us here. So we have two items on our agenda today, automated traffic safety camera program update and car licensing tabs information and discussion as well. So we're going to go ahead and start that. And our first report, I think Corey, our city traffic engineer, is going to take the lead on that one. So whenever you're ready, I can stall further if you're.
Thank you, council member. Yeah, just one moment here while I get it up on the screen.
No problem. Yeah.
See if I can get this.
We're good. We're sharing. So.
Oh, outstanding.
Great.
Outstanding. All right. Well, thank you, council member, for the opportunity to come speak to the Community Health and Safety Committee. I'm Corey Hertz, city traffic engineer. Tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about our automated traffic safety camera, which includes some red light and school speed zone photo enforcement. So I think most of the members of the committee have seen a version of this slide before. Our school speed zone is at Horizon Elementary. There's two cameras, one at the 400 block of Casino Road for eastbound and westbound at the 100 block near Casino Square. Here's the crash history, which one of the issues with crash history is it takes time. It goes down to the police reports go down to the State Department of Transportation. They enter them. Then that information is retrieved by our crash software provider, MS2. So there's a little bit of a lag there, usually about 4 months behind. But what we can say is in Horizon Elementary School Zone's positive to date. Prior in 2023 and prior we had about 25 crashes every year for the previous 5 years. And we made the system operational in 2024 and crashes immediately dropped to 9. We have seen a slight rebound in 2025 crashes. You see in the black that we've had 15 of them through 3/4 of the year with a projected 19 crashes for the year. When we went out and collected some data before turning the system on, we had about 70% of the vehicles in the school zone doing 30 miles per hour or higher when the beacons were flashing. In April, we went out and we had done a public information campaign, and then we put up the signs. In May, we turned the system on and started issuing warnings. And the number of vehicles traveling at 30 miles per hour over dropped to 45%. And we continue to this day to see the number of vehicles traveling 30 or over in the school zone has dropped below 40%. One of the things that was difficult for us to estimate was the number and the decline of the number of citations. There were 2,977 violations in May before we turned the system on. By September, the number of violations had dropped to 2,200. And then when we went out and looked at it most recently, we had in October 2025, obviously November, we've got Thanksgiving vacation in December. We've got Christmas vacation. So we picked October, and we ended up with about 869 school speed zone violations. And so we had projected originally that to be around 915. We were expecting about a 85% drop in the number of violations. It hasn't materialized yet. However, I will say that there really aren't many school zones like that Casino Road school zone where there's a 5-lane facility that are operating photo enforcement. So we really didn't have a lot of data to base that assumption on. The good news is the number of violations continues to drop. Our red light locations, I think everybody's seen this slide before as well. We have Broadway and 16th, Rucker and 41st, 112th Street, Southwest and Evergreen Way, Evergreen Way and Casino Road, and 4th and Evergreen Way, and then Everett Mall Way and 7th. So here's the crash history for 16th and Broadway. It was turned on July 10th of 2024, and we started in 2023 with about 14 crashes. This year in 2025, we are projecting the number of crashes to fall to 8. Rucker and 41st tells a similar story that we started in 2023 with 10 total crashes, 11 in 2024. The system was turned on towards the end in October of 2024, and the number of crashes we're projecting this year is a total of 6. Casino and Evergreen, a similar story, 21 to 22 crashes in 2023 and 2023 and 2024, and then in 2025, that number has dropped to a projected 12. 112th and Evergreen, in 2023, 19 crashes. In 2024, 28 crashes. And in 2025, we're projecting 13 crashes. So again, nearly cut in half the number of crashes at the intersection. 4th and Evergreen, again, a reduction from 19 crashes in 2023 to a projected 13 this year. 7th and Everett Mall Way has probably got the most dramatic reduction in 2023 and 2024. There were 11 total crashes with a reduction in a projected 4 crashes this year. Questions often asked, where do we see the most citations being issued? School zones are probably among the highest when it comes to the number of citations issued, even though they only operate about 2 hours per day. The 400 block of Casino Road eastbound and the 100 block of Casino Road westbound both make the top 4 for the overall number of citations. So Rucker and 41st, 4th and Evergreen, again, these are all high crash intersections, and some of the, certainly in the top 20 in the city. And so it is not surprising that we have a high number of red light running violations. Interestingly enough, Casino and Evergreen in the eastbound direction, primarily a left turn there. That one has the lowest. So this year in 2025 proceeds, because the school zone is producing more citations than we had anticipated, we were expecting about 1.95 million in proceeds from citations, and the actual has been closer to 2.23 million. You can see that we started out the year, not exceeding our expectations, but we turned on the last 3 units in 2025, and now the program is better than revenue neutral. With the net proceeds of 2.23 million, and the projected expenses were 1.31 million for staff, paying the vendor the monthly fee, And the actual numbers, which I got yesterday after the interfund transfers from courts and police, ended up being 1.08 million. So less than the expenses were less than expected. However, we do expect to see higher in 2026 with some planned staff additions that we'd held off on. So that leaves approximately 1.15 million to invest in a safety program. So we're going to start with a four-prong attack, I guess, for safety, and we're going to start with enforcement, and we're going to supplement the police department's ongoing traffic safety initiatives. The funds are going to can be used for equipment, personnel costs, traffic safety training, and traffic safety program development, some administrative costs. But really, we're anticipating much of the investment is to go into ongoing overtime costs for target enforcement efforts such as pedestrian safety, seatbelt emphasis, red light enforcement, street racing enforcement, which is always a favorite, and DUI emphasis and distracted driving enforcement. So we're going to focus on pedestrians and bicyclists, our most vulnerable users, and do our best to educate our community. Our education investment, our Public Works, Public Information Education Department will build a program to improve traffic safety awareness and educate our community on how to reduce and eliminate serious injury and fatal crashes. Our tactics are going to include engaging and in integrated school programs that connect with existing learning goals and objectives to reach the maximum impact. One of our employees is a former educator, so he'll be very involved in that effort. We're going to do social media campaigns using video, graphics, and informational text that focus on community health and safety. And when it comes to enforcement, we're going to borrow some of the good ideas that are out there to talk about here's our emphasis, here's what we're going to do, and then tell people that we are doing it, and then come back with the results of those efforts with data-driven numbers. So hopefully we can create a concise and memorable and actionable and emotional messages that target key behaviors like speed reduction, avoiding distractions, and not driving impaired. We're also going to do some in-person and passive outreach with our community-based organizations and community partners, particularly those that provide services to our most vulnerable road users. So I look forward to working with our public information experts in making that happen. Another part of the investment is going to be in capital improvements, probably the largest part of it. Electrical services, we have some of the systems that are still on solar power. Those are subject to vandalism and they're subject to theft. And so we're going to get, at 2 locations, we're going to get full-time electrical power from the PUD. These are both very expensive locations to get power to. So the program will be investing in the long-term system and also replacing an old antiquated electrical service at 16th and Broadway. We're going to install and do some upgrades for the flashing beacon system on Casino Road. The cabinets are over 10 years old at their end of life, and so we're going to replace that equipment so that it's reliable. And then we're going to explore the opportunity to maybe include the school because they have the latest and best times that their kids are getting in and getting out. And so I've seen this done in other cities where the school is allowed under certain parameters to make changes. They have a snow day, beacons get turned off by the people that reported that day. We're going to install some time of day school flashing beacons at Hawthorne Elementary on 12th Street and 11th, and at Challenger Elementary on Holly Drive. Those are the two of the schools that have a fairly high child pedestrian, walk rate. And so we're going to look to do that. We're looking to install rectangular rapid flashing beacons and enhanced crossing at 13th and Colby near Providence Medical Center in Everett. That's high on our list of locations to improve pedestrian safety. And some other small early adoption strategies from Vision Zero Everett. On the staffing side, we've held off hiring an unfilled traffic tech position. We've gotten such good productivity out of our project coordinator. We've decided to try to turn that into a transportation maintenance tech so we can get more of the small projects done in the field. And then there will be a court commissioner that's needed to help the influx of work that's come into the court system. We've roughly tripled the number of citations they process per month. This year, expect or fairly soon that I will bring up an update to our automated traffic safety camera ordinance. It was last approved in 2008 and is only allowed for red light, school zone, and railroad crossings. We're going to the state statute was changed in both 2024 and 2025, so we're going to look to just do some housekeeping, update the ordinance, and allow speed enforcement in school walk zones, public park and hospital zones, in roadway work zones, and in high crash areas and with excessive speed, which is allowed under the RCW at 1 per 10,000 residents. We don't have an intent at the moment to increase the size of the program, but should that day come, we just want to be updated with the current state law. And we'll also be adjusting the maximum to match the current state law. Our fine's currently $124. The new maximum is $145, and it's adjusted for inflation every 5 years. It can also be doubled in school zones. So I'll be bringing some of those changes before council. We still have such a high violation rate in the school zone. I'm reluctant to try to double those fines. And then the other thing that's coming that we have to be aware of is that 4 years after June 6, 2024, that's in 2028, 50% of our net proceeds minus expenses must go into the Cooper Jones Active Transportation Safety Account. That hasn't taken an effect for any other cities, but that safety fund is a state fund used for traffic safety education, driver training, et cetera. So that's all I have for you today. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Great. Thanks, Corey, very much. Actually, I'm going to turn to Councilmember Tui first and give her a first shot at questions or comments.
Thank you, Councilmember Bader. Corey, thank you. This was great. A lot of great information. Really appreciate it. I just have a couple of curious questions. I'm thinking about 41st and Rucker, and there's probably other ones too. Do we keep track of the time of day where maybe the infractions like escalate, like during rush hour? I know when Boeing lets off, a lot of traffic comes through that intersection. Do we watch any of that, or is it?
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Tui. Good question. I forgot to bring that up. I will say that of the red light cameras that are seeing the highest number of violations, most of those have the highest traffic volumes in the afternoon, and they're predominantly, northbound and eastbound, those people coming from the Southwest Everett industrial area. So I haven't gone in and done that analysis, but I'm sure if I did, we would see a lot of afternoon citations there.
Okay, well, hopefully all those that live out of the city of Everett are paying their fines. I don't know about that. And then I know that we've had some success with those electronic speed warnings that, flash when you drive by. Will the capital funds be adding any of those to the city?
We already have 4 of those. A couple are out of service right now. They tend to get vandalized or struck by vehicles, and so. But we do already have 4, and
Okay.
that more than meets our needs.
Okay, great. Well, that's all I have, but thank you. I sure appreciate. Good to see that the citations are going down 40 to 60% across the city. So it was the intended purpose. So thank you so much.
Thanks. Councilmember Weir.
So first off, do you have detailed information somewhere that we can access? I'm just curious specifically, you were talking about the flashing lights around Hawthorne and 13th and Colby and some of the other locations that changes are going to be made for pedestrian safety. And I wasn't able to like write fast enough. So I'm wondering, I think those are the kinds of things that our neighborhood associations will be really excited to hear, because those 2 particular locations in my district are ones that have been brought up to be by multiple people as concerning for them. So
Thank you, Councilmember. Yes, we did sit down 2 weeks ago and put together a list of elementary schools with arterials or collectors that happen to run along their frontage. And so those are the ones we're going to focus on first. Time of day flashing beacons do work. A lot of our school zones are when children are present, and for some drivers, they don't really, they may not have elementary school kids, so they don't know when they get in, so they're surprised. I think the beacons remove that surprise, and I think they're effective in getting drivers to slow down. So that's going to be one of the first things that we do over the next couple years is work on these elementary schools.
So something you're thinking across the district that there would be beacons going in, but specifically for like the Hawthorne that you mentioned, is that happening? What's the timeline on that?
Oh, yeah, it's our intent to get those in this year, both Hawthorne and Challenger on
Okay.
Holly. So
Okay.
Hawthorne on 12th and 11th.
Great. But is this information that you were sharing do you have the detail, more the specifics that are available to us or not?
No, we don't
No?
have any design documents yet. When
Okay.
we get it, when we
No,
get a
I'm talking
design.
what you're reading from tonight, your comments that
Oh.
you're speaking to this slideshow.
There's not much more information than that.
Okay.
I mean, we'll have some plans and estimates inside of a month, and so
Okay.
and then we'll
Yeah.
move towards
Like I said, I just
construction.
can't write fast enough. I was trying to take notes on the specific streets and locations and what it was called that you were putting in. So maybe
Yeah.
I can get those.
Yeah,
from
school
Jennifer.
zone flashing beacons,
Okay.
and yeah, we would.
So Hawthorne and Challenger, sorry, be really specific here on this.
Yes.
And I had one other question. So it was interesting when you were talking about the Horizon school speed zone. And I mean, what do we attribute that it seemed like there was such a drop in crashes in 2024? Is it just people are more used to it and not paying as much attention anymore? Or just it seemed like it has taken kind of a dramatic jump again.
Yeah,
It's still lower than 2023, but
it is lower. I think, one of the things, the school zone, it was the first we turned on. So drivers were very wary and cautious initially. And I think some drivers honestly thought that it was going to issue citations for the 35-mile-an-hour posted speed, 24/7. And so I think we saw many aggressive drivers maybe move to other routes like Highway 526, and maybe they're back now. That's all, of course, a best guess, but
okay.
we will know long-term next year. I think, and the following year, we'll get 3 years of data under us with crashes. And if we continue to see a reduction, I think that's a positive sign.
Okay. And are those school zones, the speed zone cameras, something that's going to be implemented at other elementary schools or other schools around the district? Or was this kind of an emphasis just because of the specific location?
Yeah, originally this was a council originated program. And so we chose the highest speed school zone. We will put in the flashing beacons that make it possible, but we don't have any direction or any plan right now to increase the size of the program.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Councilmember. Corey, just a couple of cleanup questions here. I think your presentation kind of implies this, but just to make it clear to those watching that are unfamiliar with what we did, none of the money that we get from the citations goes to the city's general operations. They all go to traffic, all devoted to traffic safety efforts, right?
Yes, that's correct. The ordinance was written back and approved back in 2008, and all proceeds must go to a traffic safety program, And so that's why we're proposing none of it goes to the general fund. It goes to a specific fund.
Gotcha. And then kind of related to that, you mentioned that Conrad Jones or Cooper Jones thing, as well as our hope that citations drop significantly, and obviously violations drop along with that. But obviously a lot of what you mentioned, we're putting the money we've raised or fines we've got from this in capital improvements. But I assume for the rest, we're conscious that if citations and fines drop, that we need the ability to ratchet down staff that we've paid for with this, or that we could easily do that if we needed to, if we saw a sudden or significant drop in those?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, part of the what we've been watching and with the fund is that that we will remain revenue neutral no matter what happens with the Cooper Jones Fund. And I apologize for saying 50%. It's 25% that goes to Cooper Jones. So we've already done some projections, and we would still be better than revenue neutral. We just wouldn't be able to have such a robust traffic program. I do hope that the legislature does make some changes to that provision, that those cities that are using 100% of the proceeds to go to safety program might forego giving funding to the Cooper Jones
Great.
Safety Fund.
Excellent. And then one thing, and I know you've heard me ask this question before, there are some violators that appear to just be intractable and do it over and over and over again. And in light of that information, at least in regards to those folks, I wouldn't personally be adverse to looking at higher fines if we were able to do it for serial violators. I mean, our intent certainly, I don't think, is to, really penalize people who just, get caught unaware. I mean, not paying attention once or something like that. But I think certainly for those who constantly violate this and create dangerous situations, at least for me, I'd be interested in some mechanism to be able to ratchet up the enforcement or the penalties for those folks. So just a comment to offer. So,
Thank you.
great. Any other comments or questions from my fellow council members? Okay, great. Well, thanks, Corey, very much for that. Always interesting to hear that information, and thanks for the good thing. Letting us know about the good things that are happening in regards to that. So,
Yeah, thank you. Very informative.
So the second item was one I'd actually brought forward prior to knowing that the legislature was going to really act on, or at least propose to act on, car licensing tabs. Heard from others that, and obviously just the general information we get out there in the public that not licensing vehicles was becoming more and more frequent. And so I brought this up as an agenda item because of the interest in what role does the city play in enforcement of that, if any, and also is the lack on the other side of that equation, is there a lack of if more and more people are not paying for their car tabs, is the city suffering as a result of reduced revenue in some way? So Jennifer, if you can take it from here, and my kind of amorphous comments. So.
Yeah, I will take it from here. Just kidding. I will turn over to I think our chief has some information to share, kind of a little bit at a high level to broadly introduce some concepts. And then I don't know that we'll answer all the questions you mentioned, so we'll get back to those. And so Chief Getz, or maybe just this guy that here that I didn't notice. I was looking like this, and then you're in the corner of my eye, so.
But I'll do my best.
It's okay.
So,
Deputy Chief Hendrickson, please go
Sure.
ahead.
So I definitely heard your questions, and I'll get there. I promise. But I thought it'd be pretty important to maybe talk a little bit more with generalities about how we view traffic enforcement. I think it's really important. The intent we've seen across the country where other agencies have abused traffic enforcement and for a variety of reasons. And we just want to kind of reassure our community that we don't do that. So really at the core of everything we do when it comes to traffic enforcement, we're really committed to eliminating traffic fatalities and serious collisions. We're fully partnered with the Vision Zero plan. We're committed to making sure we're effective partners in that as Corey builds that program out. Traffic enforcement done by the department is done by a variety of different teams. Every patrol officer is expected to make some traffic stops. We have in each individual patrol platoon, we have 2 traffic officers assigned to it. They take all the crashes, they do some traffic enforcement when they can, but they're also assigned to respond to calls when we're short-staffed. And then we have the traffic safety unit. The traffic safety unit is made up of a Sergeant Davis, 2 detectives, serious traffic collisions. The investigation that need to go into those is extensive, to say the least. There's a huge amount of training to figure out what really happened. There's liability on the city, there's liability on people, and we also see serious crimes committed that. So the other part of the traffic safety unit is the motorcycle officers. Very excited to say we added 2 additional motorcycle officers in October. Does my heart good. The team is slated to be staffed up to 5 motor officers, so we're still hoping to add a couple more as staffing allows to it. So that's where we're at. When we go out and we actually do traffic enforcement, it used to be called the Core 4 by the State Patrol. Vision Zero has actually identified a few things that we really want to focus on. They identified the majority of crashes are involving yielding right-of-ways, excessive speed, impaired driving. I also throw in there distracted driving is something that we see causing a lot of collisions lately as well. And also reckless driving, racing things are also. So those are really the things we're really trying to focus on to try to decrease those collisions and serious injuries. We do it in a variety of different ways. Corey mentioned some of the emphasis patrols we do. We've gotten a lot of funding through the Washington State Traffic Safety Commission. Some of that money is starting to dry up a little bit, and so we're looking for some different revenues on how we can support these extra patrols. In 2025, we did a variety of different patrols. Commercial vehicle speeds was something we did. Street racing and takeovers. A lot of people see the damage and the noise and the disturbance. What a lot of people don't realize, there's a lot of serious violent crime associated with some of these street takeovers. And so it's one of our concerns. There's a consortium throughout the Puget Sound area where we're trying to make sure that we're addressing these concerns, these street takeovers. A lot of really negative things happen there. Obviously, we've done motorcycle safety, walker roller safety around transit zones, emphasis, impaired driving. There's a lot of TZT emphasis patrols throughout the county we partner in, and we do those things as well. Another exciting addition we did for 2025, we added a drug recognition officer. It's extensive training. We're very grateful State Patrol pays for it, but it does involve us losing an officer for 3 weeks for a variety of training. That officer is able to identify people affected by drugs. There's really no breathalyzer test for drugs. And so this officer has extensive training to do evaluation so we can get the probable cause for DUI for drug affected drivers. And that adds something a lot to us. So, and then the other part, we're really committed to doing public outreach and education. We've sent out social media posts about what we're going to do, when we're going to do it. We're going to increase those as we increase our enforcement efforts coming up as well. And so the end of the day, what really matters is fatalities and serious collisions. Between 2020, we saw increased number of fatalities on the roadways. Pretty horrible. In 2022, we had 18 fatalities. 23, we had 13. 24, we had 17. Preliminary numbers for 2025. We're expecting a total of 7 fatalities. So there's some pretty substantial improvements in 2025. And I think I have and obviously there's, to understand why collisions happen, especially fatalities, there's a massive amount of things that go into them. But we are seeing increased number of traffic stops, which we're happy with, an increased number of enforcement stops, including tickets. And so we're seeing some of that. We're also seeing some really positive effects of the additional 2 motorcycle officers. January, which is the least fun month of the year to do traffic stops, we actually saw the most traffic stops over the last 12-month period by a pretty substantial amount. So we're seeing some positive effects by adding some specialized officers to this event. Traffic stops went up 17% in 2024, and they went up another 12% in 2025. We're still coming out of, I guess, the funk is what I'd call it, of COVID area 2020. And so one of our priorities is to do more traffic enforcement stops. I think it's really important to mention, we never tell our officers to write more tickets. The discretion is up to them. If an officer feels like having a couple-minute conversation, educational stop will change that behavior, that driver, that's great. If it needs a ticket to change that driver's behavior, then that's fine as well. We don't mandate, there's no quota. We don't mandate tickets at all. Getting to maybe the topic at hand, we did go back and pull the number of expired registration infractions written by officers. In 2024, we had an increase of 86% in the number of registration tickets we wrote. We had another 13% increase in 2025. Had a chance to talk to some of the traffic officers out there. They said it's not uncommon to hear motorists be a little surprised that we're enforcing the tab tickets, especially if they're from south of the city a ways, where maybe that doesn't happen. Tabs aren't a primary focus for enforcement because it doesn't cause collisions, but it is something it's part of the traffic law that we do enforce. The other enforcement arm that we use for vehicles that are either expired over 45 days or don't have license plates, as if they're parked on the road. You're required to have current tabs and a license plate if you're parking on a public street. For tickets written by our parking enforcement officers, it was an increase of 118% in 2024 for tabs and the license plates, and another 18% in 2025. The parking enforcement team is high functioning. They're doing really well. And so expired tabs over 45 days also does subject the vehicle to impound. In 2025, there was 375 vehicles impounded for not having license plates or not having tabs. And this is a community caretaking function for us. Nobody wants an abandoned junker car in front of their house. And so we try not to impound cars, but sometimes that's the tool we have available to make the community a better place. So. Thought I had one more, but I don't. So in summary, we are still very much writing tab tickets. It's not a primary function for us, but we are enforcing it. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Let me open it up for questions. Councilmember Tui, any questions or comments on this item?
Here. No, I don't, but thank you for the presentation. Lots of statistics. Thank you. No questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Weir.
Regarding, you were saying that impounds and just parking enforcement has increased. And so when it comes to impounding, are those generally like abandoned type vehicles? Is that what you're focusing on more than, because this is leading, I guess.
Sure.
But I mean, we see, and hear a lot of concerns from people that they're, folks are living in their cars, and obviously if they're living in their cars, they probably can't afford to pay their tabs, so where does that sort of line fall?
Of course. Yeah. If a vehicle,
Still, breaking the law, but I mean,
sure.
just can.
Sure. Yeah. If the vehicle's occupied or we think someone's living in it, we'll do extensive outreach to them. The CARES team will be involved from the start of it. We'll try to provide resources to them, and we'll try to avoid impounding vehicles. Some points, it'll become a point where we don't have a choice. If there's a public safety aspect to it, a public health aspect to it, or if there's unreasonable impact on the neighborhood. So there's extensive outreach. Kelly and the CARES workers will do a lot of work with people trying to find the resources to get them some sort of help. But most of these are abandoned vehicles, not occupied.
Great. That's what I was hoping to hear, but
Sure.
Well, thanks. So just one follow-up, maybe two. So I think what I hear from a lot of our constituents is kind of a impression that there's a correlation between drivers with expired tabs or in other emphasis issues like tinted windows or modified mufflers, and those who tend to violate the traffic laws in more egregious ways that are more dangerous than, driving around with expired tabs. And, I don't know if that's true or not, if the data shows that, but I think that's kind of the push that I and others get from constituents that say, hey, if we could focus on these, would we help get some of these other issues dealt with, because they're the same people are doing these things. So I don't know if it's possible to make a comment or thoughts on that.
It's been interesting. I guess I worked as a motorcycle officer for a while, and what we really saw was when King County and south of there started increasing tabs to a much higher amount. A lot of people going to Boeing driving a really nice car would tell you that, hey, look, it's a $400 or $500 tab. I'll take your $120 ticket, no problem. And so it seemed more along the lines of, I saw more people that maybe weren't driving bad or committing other crimes doing this. There's definitely some, if I choose not to follow one law, I'm probably more likely not to follow others. But I can't see a correlation between the two.
And the final question, I think this might be more for Jennifer. And Jennifer, maybe this is one you were going to get back talking about getting back to us on, but I think the issue was raised of if people who not paying their tabs, obviously when we pay them, that goes to the state, but does that ultimately filter down and have a revenue or budget impact on cities, including Everett? And so at some point, if there's a way to find that out, I think we'd be curious to know that.
I think that we include assumptions about the number of folks who do or don't license their vehicles. It's not like if you don't pay your property taxes, eventually you're going to have to. I think like if you don't license a car and someday you do, there isn't a way to say, we think we've been driving this thing around for a while and you owe all of these like back license fees. But I'll see if there's anything more that I can dig up on that.
But it's some, I mean, obviously concerned about people who don't follow the law, but if it doesn't have a revenue impact on Everett, if all the money goes to the state and then maybe it's not such a crucial issue. So just
right.
throwing that.
Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, as you point out about property taxes, we know part of property taxes go to Everett, but if none of the revenue from
I mean, we
auto
have
license
a
tabs.
transportation benefit district that has a car tab on it.
Okay.
So
Very good.
if somebody's driving their car around and they haven't paid their tabs, that's $20 that could go to repave our roads.
There you go. Very good.
So, yeah.
Okay. Thanks. All right. Thanks very much. It's appreciated. Jennifer, I think the next one is yours in terms of talking about proposed agenda items, and how do you want us to respond to that question? Or
yeah, well, are there priorities or things you'd like to talk about? I think Angie has reached out to the health district in the past, and I was just chatting with their new director, and I think there's an openness to see if there is a good time that works for them. I know you guys have asked for them to come and talk about a variety of health type issues. So that's one we could work on. Yeah.
thanks.
Or other
Okay.
priority.
Let me open it up to my fellow council members. Councilmember Tui, and any
Yeah.
items?
I think one thing we were working on before the Christmas break was having a tour of the jail and getting more information about, when they let folks out and all that kind of stuff. So I know Angie had been working on that. So I think it would be great with our new council member to do that. I haven't been there in a long time myself.
As a visitor? No. Okay. Yes.
As a visitor, yes, as a visitor. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other items, Councilmember Tui, that's front of mind for you? That you'd like to say?
No, that's just the one that's kind of left over from last year at the end of the year.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Councilmember Weir, any thoughts, especially with your new eyes and new impressions here?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm sort of just trying to figure out the process here. So I'm looking down this list of future agenda pending items, and yeah,
Some of those, so
Mumble,
those,
mumble, mumble.
yeah, some of those were first generated like maybe a couple council retreats ago. As we kind of reformed committees maybe like 3 years ago. So our retreats have taken different forms over the years. This last one, we were pretty focused on specific issues some year. And I do have that list of like all the other stuff people mentioned. I owe that to just, it's on my list to distribute that to the council. Maybe there are some things that were on the, like, we didn't talk about at the retreat, but folks told me about it in December that we could look to for agenda items for this committee and the other committee as well. But that's where those topics originated from.
Well, I
and
do
then-
have a
yeah.
thought,
Mhm.
that something to do with the health district and the maybe as far as permitting, because we've got the street vendor questions coming up and maybe that would be a good presentation or we get more information on what the requirements are for different restaurants and food vendors in our community and how to, what that process looks like for folks. And so we have a better understanding as well.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thanks to the couple that I'd throw out, Jennifer, that health district one, I think I might have surfaced this one at one time and thinking, how do we encourage our community to be healthier through awareness and presentation? I think that one might be good, like in the very early fall or late summer when I think the health district has a really strong emphasis on vaccinations. So we're coming up on encouraging people to get flu, COVID, pneumonia, that kind of thing. So just throwing that out there in terms of timing. And similarly with the, I think to council in general, you've given us updates on transitional cold weather shelter, whether that happens to the whole council or at this committee, maybe again, another good topic as we go into the fall and winter, because I think that becomes the more evident issue for us. And then the final one I'd mention is, I know some jurisdictions have passed legislation on exposing minors to fentanyl. I know I brought that one. I'd be eager to see that come back as soon as we can. And I know
I just have to, it is written.
Okay.
And I just have to confirm staff availability, since it's an ordinance, we'd like to make sure that folks are
Understood.
available for the 3 readings. So theoretically later this month
Okay.
is my goal. Yeah.
Okay, we'll strike some off. Okay, great. Okay, any other comments, Councilmember Tui or Councilmember Weir at this point? Okay, Jennifer, anything else that we need to cover?
I don't think so.
Okay, great. Well, with that, then committee meeting is adjourned. Thanks. Thanks to everybody.